there is a number scientists don't like to talk about. It is 10 raised to the power of 2,685,000. That is larger than the number of atoms in the known universe. And that is the odds against you existing. Not against life, not against intelligence. The odds against you, specifically, hearing these words right now. And yet, here you are. Your last journey asked a dangerous question. If you are eternal, why do you feel so limited? We found the veil, the Maya, the mechanism of forgetting. But tonight, we follow that question into darker water, because the illusion does not merely hide your eternity behind feelings of smallness. It hides it behind something far more convincing. It hides it behind the cold, hard numbers of mathematical statistics and probabilities. And to find what lies beneath the numbers, you must let them break your heart before they mend it. Proof you are eternal. You should not exist. This is not a comfort story. This is a mystery, and some of the clues will unsettle you before they free you. Stay with me. What you are about to see is not an argument. It is an experience. The numbers will lead you to a door, but only you can choose to open it. Some doors, once opened, do not close. Consider this your warning and your invitation. The impossibility chain. The odds against your existence. Imagine a lottery, not a game, the real one. The one that began before your parents ever laid eyes on each other, before their parents met, before any human walked this earth. To produce you, one specific sperm had to find one specific egg. That alone is 1 in 400 trillion. But that is only the beginning. Your parents had to meet. Their parents had to meet. Every ancestor in an unbroken chain stretching back millions of years had to survive disease and war and accident and famine. Had to choose this partner and not that one. Had to live long enough to pass the thread forward. Trace that chain back just 10 generations, and the odds against you are already 1 in a billion. Trace it back 1,000, and the number becomes meaningless. It exceeds the number of particles in the observable universe. You are not merely unlikely. You are statistically impossible. The universe, according to the cold accounting of chance, should have produced anything and everything before it produced you. Scientists call this the probability chain. And when they finish the calculation, they look up from their instruments with an incredible sense of awe. They call it a miracle. But here is where the path splits, because a miracle can be read 2 ways. Either you won a lottery you never chose to enter, or the lottery itself is not what it appears to be. The eternal makes it worse. Why consciousness deepens the paradox. Your last journey gave us a strange gift, the memory that you are eternal. That consciousness does not begin with the body and does not end with it. But if that is true, the paradox does not dissolve. It deepens, because now the odds are not merely biological. They are metaphysical. For 13.8 billion years, the universe expanded in darkness. Stars ignited and died. Galaxies collided and scattered. And through all of that vast, blind machinery, no observer existed to witness it, or so the story goes. Then, At the very last geological moment, impossibly complex chemistry arranged itself into a pattern that could look back at the stars and ask what they meant. If consciousness is eternal, why did it wait so long? If you are infinite awareness, why did you choose to be squeezed into one fragile body on one fragile world at one fragile moment? The impossibility does not go away. It multiplies. The Fermi Paradox asks why, in an infinite universe, we hear no other voices. But the deeper question asks why, in an infinite awareness, you chose to hear only this one. Some turn away here. They say the numbers prove we are accidents, brief flickers in an indifferent machine. But if you have felt the pulse of eternity even once, you know that answer does not fit. It is too small. The question is not how you beat the odds. The question is why the odds exist at all. The abyss of randomness. Sitting in the Materialist temple. Let us sit for a moment in the place most minds refuse to enter. The Materialist temple. In this story, you are the product of entropy and accident. Your consciousness is a side effect. Your love is chemistry. Your wonder is neurons firing in a pattern that happens to feel like meaning. The universe does not know you exist. And in a few decades, the pattern will dissolve and the cosmos will continue exactly as before. The odds against you were a temporary glitch, a statistical burp in an otherwise silent machine. This is the abyss, and it is perfect. It is so airtight that consciousness itself cannot escape it. The mathematics supports it, the biology supports it, the physics supports it. Every instrument we build confirms the same story. Matter comes first. Awareness comes after. You are a brief exception to the rule of deadness. You should not be alive, and soon enough, you will not be. The fear this produces is not an error. It is the logical conclusion of a story that begins and ends with dust. But there is a crack in this temple, and it is not a new discovery. Teachers thousands of years ago described it with a single word: Maya. Not merely illusion. The illusion so complete, so mathematically consistent, that it becomes indistinguishable from reality. The odds are not evidence against your eternity. They are the texture of the veil itself, and the veil is not a mistake. It is a design. The flip, turning everything inside out. Now everything turns inside out. What if consciousness is not the rare jewel that the universe finally produced after billions of years of blind effort? What if consciousness is the source from which all jewels are mined? What if the probability of your existence is not a miracle, but a measurement error? Probability measures events within a system. But you, the one reading this, are not within the system. You are the awareness in which the system arises. The odds do not explain you. You explain the odds. Think of it this way. In quantum physics, the act of observation collapses a wave of infinite possibility into one definite event. But what is doing the observing? Not the eye, not the brain, something prior, something that was never born, and therefore never had to beat any odds to exist. Your biological body is one specific collapse of an infinite wave. But the awareness reading these words is the ocean that held the wave. The birthday paradox tells us our intuition fails at scale. But the deeper truth is that our intuition of separation fails at every scale. You are not one person who won a cosmic lottery. You are the field in which lotteries become possible. This does not solve the paradox. It deepens it into a mystery, because now we must ask the darkest, most beautiful question of all. The game design of impossibility. The blueprint of the veil. The answer is the same mechanism we found in your last journey, the forgetting. But now we see its full genius. You did not merely forget that you are eternal. You forgot so completely that even the numbers would seem to prove you are not. You wanted the veil to be so dense, so logically airtight, that no amount of rational thinking could pierce it. Because only then, when the game feels completely real, can the awakening be complete. Think of a dream. A shallow dream is easy to escape. You bump against its edges and wake up. But a deep dream is different. A deep dream has consistency. It has history. It has laws. It has odds. It whispers to you, this is not a dream. And because you believe it, the moment of waking becomes a revolution. This is what you chose. Not a light forgetting. Not a casual amnesia. A mathematical forgetting. An odds-based forgetting. A forgetting so thorough that your own existence would feel like a glitch in an otherwise dead universe. And now that you are beginning to remember, the game changes. You stop asking how you got here. You start asking why you disguised yourself so perfectly, and what you intend to do now that the disguise is cracking. Playing as the miracle. The return to conscious play. You are not a brief flicker. You are not a statistical burp. You are not a side effect of atoms. You are the field in which atoms become possible. And everything that seems to be against you, probability, entropy, even death, is simply your own eternal signature, written backward, so that you could spend a lifetime learning to read it. The odds did not produce you. You produced the odds, as the perfect disguise. And now that you remember, every breath becomes a conscious act. Every choice becomes a collaboration between the finite player and the infinite game. You did not win the lottery. You wrote the rules, and then you agreed to forget them. Just long enough to feel what it is like to win. Just long enough to remember why you play. Playing as the miracle. The journey continues. If this spoke to the part of you that never sleeps, consider continuing the journey. The next mystery is already waiting. And as always, you are not alone. Blessings on your path. Remember who you are.